Hello, my name is Onyx, and I'm going to bring you my first Infinity Battle Report. As you can see, we'll be playing the Merovingian mission set, and the first mission is, of course, Search and Rescue. We'll be doing the narrative mode, and I'll be playing Onyx, and my friend Puma Driftcat will be playing the Merovingians. In the narrative mode, the combined army get 25 extra army points, and the Merovingians automatically sink when they are trying to rescue a civilian. Here's the Merovingian army list. Take a look at it for a moment. And then I'll move on to the Combined Army list, which is mine. I can comment a little more on. First, in Group 1, you see 5 Unidrons, 1 Spitfire, and a bunch of plasma carbines. Their job is to move up a flank and guard civilians and do what I call a turning action, which you'll see in the battle boards. I try to do this. Group 2, it's got a couple of Suryats. They're in charge. The Suryat Lieutenant is the HMG, and I like them for rescue because they have jungle terrain, and they're pretty tough. They bring a flamethrower with them to deal with camo tokens, so they should be able to get up there and get a civilian and get back. And of course, we've got sort of normal support items for the Combined Army. MedTech, Q-Drone, the E-Drone's up here for assisted fire where it needs to be. Alright, let's take a look at our board. You can see the board here. It looks a little bit open for an Infinity board, but remember in Search and Rescue, there's an exclusion and saturation zone in the center. There's also a maximum range of 32 inches on any shot. And we are playing these tufts of smoke you see as eclipse, so nobody's seeing through them or anything like that. Also on the buildings that you see here, we're playing all of the window sections as solid, so no seeing through the windows. There's one door you can move through over here, otherwise they just block line of fire. Take a look at the other side of the board here. So here it is from the other side. You can see we've laid out debris in the middle to represent the shot down ship, and you can see the 4 civilians, which you'll get close-ups of in a minute. More of this building, and over here you can see this rock outcropping. There's a tunnel that goes all the way through it to the other side over here. Alright, Combined Army deployment on my right flank. I've got the Link team. There's 2 Unidrons inside the tree stump here, the Spitfire and one of the carbines. You can see the other carbines around here, and then an Icodron for repeater support, Slave Drone, 1 Imatron, and the M Drone. Who's not really sure what he's going to do. Maybe he'll send something. Middle of the board, moving on from the M Drone, the 2 Suryats, got the Lieutenant HMG up on top, and the multi-rifle light flamethrower down here. Their plan is just to run up along here, and there's a civilian right up there. Got an R Drone, next to him Doc Worm, who's kind of hiding out over there. The second Imatron sitting up there. And on my extreme left flank, the Q-Drone providing covering fire, the E-Drone doing his thing, and the second Icodron, who is over here just in case Duroc and Marjorie decide to show up on this flank. Before I move on, my reserve is my Malingos, who's going to be trying to deploy up front past the exclusion zone. I'll show you that when I get to that place I can see it. Here are the civilians. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4, going across the board from my left to right. Then we have the Merovingian deployment. This was his reserve right here. It's an infiltrator with e-maulers and such. Next to him, the camo token, which ends up being a chasseur. Chasseur's mine is right here. We're going to move on through here. There is a Zouave sapper here with an HMG. Another camo token, which turns out to be a mine for this camo token, which is a mine layer. And Jacques is right behind here as a camo token as well. Then we have the doctor up here, and the rest of the link moving on. You can see most of the rest of the link here. There is a Moblo sapper, there's a Metro, or a Moblo, a Metro, and there's one more camo token here. There's about 6 guys for the link, 5 of which are of course in the link, and 1 is backup. And right in here is where my Malingos tried to go, but it failed and ended up back in the deployment zone, which you'll see as we get into Combined Army Turn 1. Here are the Unidrons moving up. With assisted fire, the Spitfire here is able to remove this piece pretty easily. And now you can see the chasseur who we spotted but not been able to kill. In this position, which I like, we're guarding 2 of the civilians, this one here and one right behind me, over there, through this line, like right here. And so I'm pretty happy with leaving them where they are, except that moving up here, I can see through here to the Zouave sapper. Now, the Moblo laid the E-Mauler right here, which this guy just walks straight into. I'm like, BTS 6, I'll be fine. I'll walk right in there. I also get flamed by the chasseur. I survive the flame, but get stunned by the BTS, which means I have to send up the slave drone to fix him. And then they're in a fine position for the turn. They're all sitting here guarding these objectives. I move on from them. The Suryats. The Suryats decide to move up towards the civilian right here. When this one stands up, you can see the Moblo sapper up in this direction. I take the shot and then figure out it's a pretty bad shot. I'm on 10s with 3 dice through the saturation zone. He's on 16s on 1 die. So yeah, I get hit, make my armor save, decide not to do that again, and just kind of creep them up a little bit, keep it like that. On the other side of the board, the Malingos just recamos and moves up. The Doc Worm also moves up as he was getting the slave drone over there. And the E drone switches the assisted fire to the Q drone, waiting for the advance of the Merovingians. So, Merovingian turn 1. Jacques shows up, gets into a firefight with the Unadrons, puts one dogged, decides he doesn't want to go any farther than that, and holds back. This one here is the one that he sends dogged. You can see the line of fire was right through there. So I'm still covering both of these civilians with that one and this one. It's okay. Alright, the Moblo sapper. His first volley destroys the Q drone outright, which is bad but not terrible. He then steps up or crawls out of his foxhole to his right slightly, where you can see my Suryat HMG. And with one volley, puts him unconscious as well. Now, that's my lieutenant. My opponent doesn't know that, but I will be starting my second turn in loss of lieutenant. So the Moblo then goes back into his foxhole, thinking he's pretty, which he is. All right, this Chasseur moves up midfield, getting ready to get a civilian on the second turn. He moves up into the building and holds his position. There's the poor Suryat who's down, and the Suryat multi-rifle who really wishes he'd been the lieutenant, and is pretty sure he will be in the near future. But he is my data tracker, so we still have that going for us. Alright, this is Combined Army turn 2, again, in loss of lieutenant. First thing we do is have a nice shot here with a plasma carbine, all the way through here, down to where Jacques is hanging out, and another Moblo right behind him. So I make his order regular with command token and send him out into the open. He gets flamed by the Chasseur, and the plasma carbine fires down there. Then I do my math and figure out I need 5s to hit, which is not a great shot. I am, however, out of the exclusion zone, so I get my full 3 dice. And I crit with a 5. Putting down Jacques, the other Moblo, however, makes both of his saves and fails guts around a corner. That's fine. Alright, Icadron moves up. The Chasseur who was here gets double flamethrower, fails his dodge, and is crispy. And so still holding on to the civilians over here. Alright, the Malingos. Moving up, again, very limited order pool. And in the exclusion zone, saturation zone, he can see a Moblo and a Chasseur. Splits his burst on his boarding shotgun and manages to put them both unconscious. Awesome. Malingos is doing great work. He ends right there. The Doc Worm right behind him goes into suppressive fire because we know something's coming. E-Drone moves out, trying to get, with his own order, trying to get a little better view of the center field for some AROs. Instead, he gets a Panzerfaust from a Moblo and goes unconscious. Alright, so the first thing on the Merovingian turn 2. The Chasseur shows up and flames the Malingos and Doc Worm. I decide to let Doc Worm die and just suppressive fire back. The Malingos I consider engaging and end up going with a dodge, dodging to get closer to the civilian over here. Really, I should have engaged when I think about it later, because as soon as I do anything next turn to try to remove the Chasseur, he cracks out a mine. And that makes it troublesome for the Malingos to get anything done. So the Malingos does successfully dodge. Doc Worm, however, just misses and then is burnt up by the flamethrower and is very dead. Here is the one Unadron who ran out there to take that long shot, where he killed Jacques. He's now getting killed by the sapper Moblo. I'll move myself. You can see him up on top of this hill. It is within 32, and it kills him quite easily, which is fine. He did his job. All right. Also in turn 2, or still in turn 2, the Merovingians send up a Moblo. He goes prone, sneaks over, grabs one of the civilians, and heads back with him. He's got him secure. This is now Combined Army turn 3. The Malingos is over here, jumps over to the civilian, takes the mine, takes a flamethrower, takes an AR over there, decides just to throw his shot into the Chasseur and try to put him down. Because if I don't get this civilian, that Chasseur is going to get him next turn, it's going to be hard to stop him. So I do put the Chasseur unconscious, and the Malingos dies. Dies to the flamethrower, dies to the mine. I think he gets hit by another arrow from downrange somewhere. Doesn't do anything else. A lot of orders spent on this Suryat, who runs into midfield. Fortunately, passes his first roll to sync with this civilian and drags him back into my deployment zone. So I've got one civilian in my deployment zone with my data tracker. And then I move to set up some arrows to stop the other civilians from being captured. There's one on each flank left, and the one on my right flank is pretty well defended by the rest of the Link team. So this guy moves up to cover this line of fire straight through here where they'll be moving. The M drone also moves up to cover that, and the E drone as well. When this guy moves into position, he takes a plasma shot at the sapper and kills him, which is great for me because he can remove all his arrow pieces fairly easily on his turn. So Merovingian turn 3. This is the lieutenant who picks up the civilian and then moves it back over here, keeping it just fine, and frees up the rest of the Link team to relink and move up. They relink over here. You can see the Merovingian HVT, which is this armed raccoon here, who that Unadron is also securing at the moment. Here's the M drone looking down that same fire path, and now they're about to engage this guy. The Moblo is right around this corner. He's going to step around and take a shot. He'll also take shots from the M drone and probably the E drone too. First thing that happens is our hero goes dogged, which is fine. He's dogged and he can still see the whole area over there. They still have to deal with him. These guys start to move up. One goes unconscious as they're all kind of getting ready for the run through there, and then they take the run. And you can see they're all just going unconscious as they go through, from the plasma and the 2 combi rifles going through there, and they're running out of orders. They try a last dash to the civilian, and they do not make it. So, final score, we have Onyx, 2 for having a civilian in CVAC with the data tracker in the deployment zone, and that was it. And the Merovingians had 1 civilian in their deployment zone, but the victory points were for having more, and we each had 1. So, hope you guys enjoyed the battle report, and let me know what you want to see more of. More Army List discussion, more pre-game tactics, more post-game, and thanks for watching.